it's even more of a challenge when we're, within the confines of our home and needing to create these invisible boundaries during this invisible war, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So being able to, kind of insulate yourself a little bit to restore yourself is so important.
Welcome to Black Belt Beauty Radio, a podcast fueled by a passion to support your journey in developing your most beautiful and optimal performance in life. Each episode is driven with the intention to elevate your mind. When we elevate our mind, we elevate our life. So get ready. It's time to rise. Hey everyone, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of Black Belt Beauty Radio. Today's episode is extra special, you guys. It's one of a kind. I've never had an episode like this shared here before, and I'm really, really excited about it. So I've got my girl, Tracy Stanberry, back on the podcast. And for those of you who are not familiar with who Tracy is yet, she's an incredible yoga and movement instructor, as well as a fusion dance and fire performer. She's basically a unicorn that has such a uniqueness about her that is absolutely infectious to all who connect with her. Straight up, she's my girl. So, she's been on the podcast a few times, and I highly suggest checking out our other episodes together where you can learn more about her. The links to those specific episodes are in the show notes. But in this episode, you guys, Tracy and I get down on talks around how we're navigating around COVID-19 by way of our emotions, mindset, lifestyle habits, our business, as well as noticing areas where we need to edit, rethink, recreate, and from that, develop new expanded progress in desirable ways. So essentially, you guys, it's leveraging this crazy challenge we're all facing to make real gains from within and out. So additionally, what makes this super extra special is Tracy gifted all of us with this amazing meditation and sound bath that she recently shared via her Patreon community. I listened to it the night that she posted it, and I was ready to go to bed. So I had my candle lit, I was drinking some reishi tea from Four Sigmatic. I turned it on, and immediately, her voice, the way that she guides in meditation, and then this incredible sound bath literally just made me feel like my eyes were rolling back. Like I was so grounded and harmonized immediately from taking it in. And, my thought when I exited was, I got to share this on the podcast with you guys. Like I just have to. It's medicinal. So I asked Tracy, and she was down, and I'm so grateful to my girl. I love you. And I love this episode, you guys, so much. I really want to do my best to share content that will be most supportive to get you through this challenging time, not only just to get through it, but to literally bring out the best from you as you're maneuvering through it. Because I really believe that that's possible. So, being calm and centered and composed plays a huge role in that process. It really affects your performance. And saying that, it's important that we nurture ourselves so that we can live from these emotional states, right? Tracy's energy, her meditation, and her sound bath will most definitely contribute to getting you there into those states. She does it for me. So lastly, I do want to suggest that you guys check out her incredible Patreon platform where you can access her amazing library of movement videos that range from all different kinds of yoga, sculpt classes, bar classes, restorative classes, meditation, sound baths. It's so much. It's literally a plethora of love for your mind, body, and spirit. The link to that is in the bio, as well as Tracy's Instagram profile for you guys. And, before I hit play, I do want to ask that if you love this episode, please share it on your Instagram stories and tag both Tracy and I. And if you could leave a 4-star review via iTunes, you guys, you should see my body language right now, like asking for support. It's really funny, calling myself out. I would be so deeply grateful. I really would. It really just helps this podcast to expand and to grow. And, the goal is just to keep putting it out there so more and more people like yourselves can take in the content and be better from it as a result. So I love you guys. I hope you enjoy this incredible episode with my girl, Tracy Lynn with love, Tracy Stanberry. Enjoy.
Let's do it.
We're doing it. Doing it and doing it and doing it well.
Doing it well.
I mean, I'm so grateful for several things. Number one, it's fucking sunny and beautiful outside today, which always feels good. Number two, I get to spend time with my girl, Tracy Lynn with love. Do you like how that's like your last name?
Yes, it's my new last name. Love.
Hi, beautiful. I love you. Thank you for making time. I'm so excited to have this talk. To have this talk with you, but it's more than that. It's a super special episode because I've never done anything like this. I was telling you before we started recording that, you put out a recent sound bath and meditation on your Patreon service videos. And, I was at the day that you uploaded it, it was right before bed. I have like a bedtime ceremony where I drink my 4 Sigmatic reishi tea and I just, freshly showered, just candle lit. And I put it on, and your voice, your meditation, like the guidance of it was incredible. The sound bath literally, my face was like, ah. I felt like it was sexier than that, but I'm just saying that
one eye rolling in the back of your skull.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, yes, I felt like I felt fucking kissed all over. I felt cleansed. I felt harmonized. And I was like, whoa, this is so delicious. And so then that triggered the idea of, I got to get my girl on. It's time for another podcast with her. And we can talk about, how we're navigating through this really unique moment in history, with COVID-19. And then, integrate this beautiful meditation and sound bath as like a real medicinal gift to everybody. So I love you. Thank you for participating.
I'm so excited to be here virtually, and I just love that I can see your face while we do this.
Right? It's like quality time. Are you getting more quality FaceTime chats in with your people? And has that happened for you? It's been happening for me. It's awesome.
Yes. This, while it is massively disruptive to people's lives, I'm actually on this opinion that like things happen for a reason. Mm-hmm. And that this has really served me in an interesting way to rethink my business and the way I provide for people. And also the way I'm interacting with people. Because I feel like before I was just trying to schedule everything down to the minute and try to connect with, friends and family and also work and also do creative projects. And I always felt like I don't have time for everything. And now I'm like, I just can't wait to tell you all the things that have happened in these.
I want to know. Well, let me say this, and then I want to hear it all because it's so interesting. I was just talking about this with a girlfriend of mine this morning, her and her man, that they, in addition to me, in addition to my family, like we can't help but see the wonderful aspects of this with full reverence to the hardships that are taking place. Like I'm not trying to, make light of that. But, I cannot help but observe the opportunities from an internal perspective. Like people have the opportunity to grow and expand and uncover things and, address things. And then there's like, I think there's business opportunity. There's so much. And so I love that, you're right there with all that. And it makes sense that it's not a surprise to me, but I'm really excited to hear what these things are. Like what has been shifting for you? What are your discoveries? How are you editing and moving forward now?
I've always, and this is just kind of out of, I guess, the era that we're from, but people are very like, you grow or you go. You sink or
that.
you swim. And again, this is not telling, people that are in very tough positions that like, hey, you can find a way out of this. But I also think that, everybody's opinion on finding their way out of something is very different. They may be very attached to like this. Well, if I was only able to have, my rent just washed away for a couple months, or if only I was able to get a job, my friends that are in gig economy are like, whoa, what do I do? I produce professional flowers for weddings and normally I'm booked, during this time like crazy. And they're like, no, I have nothing.
Yeah.
What do I do? And, all sorts of other things, service industry. Some of my friends that are yoga teachers are like, they're kind of paralyzed right now and are kind of unsure of where to go. Now, I'm very fortunate that I started my online business last year.
Yeah.
Like,
so amazing, right?
Yeah. I hit 200 members today.
That's fantastic.
So it's like doubled.
Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy.
Yes. And what a service, FYI. I mean, it really, just to put this in, I have to, because it's not just that you have these incredible classes and you have such a variety of classes, restorative, like you have such a rad library of movement videos, but also, it's like when I did the first one of yours and I was like, I feel like I'm hanging out with my girl. That's so cool. And when you think about isolation right now, and so, how people are just confined to their homes, like to have this ability to feel very connected to you, even if they don't know, like you're one of my closest, so it's like, it's a yes for me. It's like, woo. But even if you're not, just to hang out with Tracy and get your vibe, it's a beautiful energy that people can take in. So it's a rad. Yes, it's fucking awesome that you did this in terms of for you and your business, but it's also such a great contribution right now, especially considering all things. Mm-hmm. Just a little side note. Continue, please.
Oh my gosh. Well, and that's the thing is, I'm going to be very transparent and say that I was both, trying to capture this moment of like, hey, I have the opportunity to really expand what I do. But I was also simultaneously paralyzed with fear because now it's not just me and, a couple thousand people that are online. Now it's like everybody is online now.
Yeah.
Everybody's live streaming, like everybody is trying to create content. And so I was having this moment of like, oh, people aren't going to want what I do. Like I just was like in this fucking headspace about it. And it took me a while to break out of it. I go through these kind of waves and like now I'm spending more time on the up, but I definitely have my moments where I'm like, but those downs actually, luckily I have a very supportive partner too that checks my downs. He's like, okay, what is this really about? Because it's never really about that, that original, ticker going across my head that like, you're not good enough. And like people are better because of course you're never going to be the best at everything. We have billions of people on the planet, Yeah. So it's like, okay, well, how can I diversify my offerings and make them unique? And so I was like, I'm going to record a sound bath. We don't really have professional like stuff. But what we did do to try to make it acoustically as good as possible was basically we built like a little kid sound fort.
When you said that I totally tried to imagine. I did imagine it because I've been in your home. So I'm like, I pictured this like the tent set up with sheets and like whatever.
It was literally like chairs and all the cushions from our couch and like a blanket and then like mics stabbed in and
That's so, it's like people, if they only knew. You got to take a picture next time you next time you create another one.
Yeah, my friend Meryl totally took a picture and I was like,
Oh,
this wasn't right at the beginning when everything started really popping off, and I was not feeling super emotionally stable. So I wasn't on my like, okay, Tracy, even though like you're not technically have to be at work, you still need to get up. You need to still do your routine, kind of like we were talking about, and that we'll get into later.
yeah, yeah.
So I was just like in my pajamas, and like doing the thing, and I got such good response from it because I had never done audio recording. Luckily, my boyfriend podcasts as well, so we had multi mics, and we had all this great stuff. He was able to adjust gains and do things that I was like, I don't know how to do that. So yeah, there was people that commented like, hey, I feel like I actually had a good night's sleep for the first time in weeks after that.
I'm not surprised.
It's like everything,
Yeah, no, because it's so soothing. And, I think that's one of the most beautiful aspects of what is taking place right now. It's like, I call it nature's virus because I'm like, dude, people, I know from meditating for years now and being, someone who just loves to hang out with myself, basically. So like every morning I have, I wake up and I'm going to have a ritual, basically. I like that word better than routine, but it's a routine either way, and I wake up and I, make my little herb drink and I sit down, drink some sips, and then boom, I go into meditation. And that's usually between 20 to 30 minutes, sometimes a little longer, sometimes a little less, whatever. And then I go into journaling. And there's a little bit of like books that happen in between. But anyways, my point is that this time, and then I have an evening, kind of ritual as well. But this time to just be with myself, to be with my thoughts, to be just, I literally say like go on a date with myself, before I do anything for anyone or with anyone. I don't respond to text messages. I don't do social media, none of that stuff, because I need to go in. And so where I'm connecting this dot is that I don't think many people give themselves the opportunity. Number one, because I don't have time, right? Well, we always can find a few minutes for ourselves if we really want to. Number two, I think it's hard for people to do it. It's really fucking hard for people to just be with themselves. And so having something like your meditation and your sound bath, it's like this beautiful, yes, while the person is sitting with themselves, there's this beautiful environment that's created via your voice and the guidance, and then the incredible sound bath. Like you did an incredible job, because I've listened to some sound baths before, but you literally, whatever you're doing, like the way that you did it, it was incredible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I really appreciate that. Because I'm always just like, I don't know, this sounds great to me.
It sounds so good. And by the way, it's not easy. I was thinking that. I'm like, physically, it's not easy. Like just to hold your arm, right? Were your arms just like...
Yeah, I've done like 45-hour-long sound baths. You got to have some strong arms to it's just like that level of lift. And then you have to like be really mobile, because I have 7 bowls. So that when you're hearing the sound bath, all that multi-tonality is set up around me. And so I'm trying to move like as quiet as I can to like get over here. Sometimes I'm like, I just feel like I'm making 15 salads at once.
That's so perfect. Yeah, I have that thought though. I'm like, damn, homegirl is strong, because the longer you go, because I have one bowl, and even just to like spin one and make it sound the way that, really nice, you got to have control, basically.
Yeah. And like a certain level of pressure too. Like you have to apply pressure on the bowl.
Yeah.
And then like decrease. It's very like, there's a finesse to it, because I've been to sound baths where these sound healers like beat the fuck out of their bowls.
Really?
I'm like, damn, girl or man or whoever.
Yeah. That's crazy. So yeah, so I'm not surprised that people wrote to you and said that they slept well. And what else would you say, in terms of like reframing things with work? I know you just mentioned just how you're kind of doing things where it was always like schedule, boom, boom, boom. Are you just breathing more? Like not just physically, but I mean, in the way that you're moving through your day and you're, creating your schedule, is that what's happening?
Yeah, like this has opened me up again, like I said, kind of that duality between like this confidence moving forwards, like I got this shit, to like the insecurities coming in, like what are you going to do when all these other fantastic teachers that I know are putting out, their stuff, and like, does this mean that I'm going to lose business? And is it going to grow? And, so far it has grown. Does that mean it will sustain? I don't know. It's kind of like how we don't know how this virus and lock-in situation is going to go.
Yeah.
Kind of at the whims and the mercy of Mother Nature, which to me is always fucking awesome. Oh yeah, we're not God. Sweet. Like, I love it. But yeah, kind of dealing with that. Interesting thing, the other week, I'll give my girl a shout out because she really helped me. My friend Isabel Gray did a hypnotherapy session with me because she was looking to restructure her business. And I was like, I would love to help you out and to just kind of see what you offer. And I had an intense experience that really helped shape my forward movement, how you like to talk about moving the needle.
Yeah.
Like she kind of helped me just scrub away some stuff and really worked with my subconscious and my imagery, and like literally the way that I was running my business before came to me in a vision as an old man that didn't want to walk anymore.
Wow, that's amazing.
She took me through a guided meditation, and I came to this man and was like, she's like, describe him. And I'm like, he does not want to get up. He's fucking stubborn. Like, and these are all the things that I was used to, like how I interpreted it, because I took a full day to really like chew on it and be like, what was this experience? And I was like, okay, I can still kind of stick around this old man and try to get him up off this rock and keep moving forward. Or I can go into unknown territory, into the unknown, face all these fears and uncertainties and learn something. Because in the vision, like there was more pockets of brightness and of sunshine. I just wasn't there yet. They were in my eyesight, but I just wanted to, take these old ideas with me. And it's like, no.
Well, that's sometimes, it's not necessarily a stubbornness. It's habitual. You have to break the habit, but it's hard to break a habit that's built into your subconscious, which clearly that's what's happened. You were able to fucking crack it.
Yeah. So I was like, okay. So I was like, I'm going to push hard on my online work. And I'm going to create a community, not just from people that are, people that are able to pay, because right now this is creating a lot of financial instability for people.
Yeah.
I'm going to try to also tend to my friends and my students and my people that are being thrust into even more uncertainty. So I'm going to be releasing more sound baths and guided meditations like that for free. And also every Wednesday night, I'm going to do a 6:45 p.m. power flow, just like we would if we were in Hermosa at Soho.
Yeah.
And just do that live on YouTube.
That's amazing.
Great response from that. And people, I was like, okay, I should have some, free offerings. And so I've been able to give that to people. And that's been really, really wonderful. And YouTube Live has been a great platform because on Instagram, you can keep your videos for a day.
Right.
But on YouTube, I can do a live class and it'll stay up there as if I just recorded and, edited, even though there's no editing really, but I just leave it up there as is, just raw.
I love it. Yeah. I feel like that's one other thing about this situation that I think is rad. It's like authenticity now more than ever. It's like, it's fucking here. I mean, cause let me explain. Well, there's a lot of layers to that, but to just keep it simple and brief, I think a lot of people have had to rethink about what they're sharing. Like, what are they creating? What are they sharing? Like right now, people are reprioritizing their life.
Yes.
So many levels, and people need support. People don't give a shit about some of the things that maybe before they were casually just paying attention to, or maybe not casually, like really focusing on. But now with this situation upon us, it forces you to really have to take a deeper look at everything, which I think is fucking awesome, So, just being back to what you said about like the raw, it's like, yeah, like we don't have time for fucking perfection and the bullshit right now. It's like, let's just be about the cause, the purpose, and the deliver, you know what I mean? Like, and just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And that's the biggest thing. And this is definitely going to change our trajectory.
Yeah.
And things, one of my spiritual advisors would always tell me like, well, in order to get on track, you have to get off track.
Yeah.
And so like this off tracking is essential to us on tracking.
100%.
It's that same process. And so, yeah, everybody's been having to really reevaluate and be like, oh, wow. Like I was kind of taking that for granted, the wonderfulness of being able to just step onto your beach, to step into a luxury yoga studio, to go to the source, which they just shut down temporarily. I'm hoping. I've been cooking Amber's recipes though at home.
I've been seeing it. It's amazing. You're such a baller, like in the kitchen, man. You're going off.
I've been literally making balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I made my oat milk the other day because I was like, well, my favorite oat milk is not available right now, so I'm gonna fucking make my own oat milk.
Dude, I love it. That's, it's you're adapting, you're being agile with the situation. And I think that is why, you watch my stories on Instagram. I am always talking about this. I didn't need a fucking virus to be saying, I trained to be fucking ready. It's like the martial artist way of life. It's like you want to be ready for battle at all times, and that allows you to not be tense, but to literally just be like locked and loaded, So when shit comes, hits whatever, when shit goes down, basically, in any circumstance, whether it's your love life, your finances, a global virus war, like just basic stuff.
Yeah.
You're capable of operating with intelligence and composure to move through it. Okay, I can't get this thing that I normally get. Okay, let me find a way to create it. Or I typically train my body this way. Okay, well, let me do this at home. You know what I mean? But versus just being paralyzed with, well, now what? And I know some people, who have had like mentally been in that place where they're like, oh, now what do I do? I can't go to the gym. I'm like, now what do? You fucking figure it out. You get creative. Like this is where you get to grow as an individual and learn about who you are, It's
Yeah. No, 100%. Like this is where we actually get to see, stripped from your comforts.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is like taking off the veil,
Totally. And it's so important to say, we're never going back. There are things like it's a done deal. Like, sure, there will be some normalcy, we'll be able to be around each other again and things like, for sure there's that. But this is such a big historic moment. There are things that, let me say it like this. Are you ever going to be the same, pre-virus COVID versus post? No, you've already changed. You've already evolved. You've already moved the needle forward. And you're just starting, Same with me. It's like, no. And so I think it's important to take that piece and go, yeah, that's right. It's never going to be the same. So how do I just keep getting better or expanding or, however you want to frame it, just to basically be positioning yourself to be in a higher state of consciousness and living, as in this moment. And as we, get past it, basically, it's a fucking opportunity.
Mm-hmm. And that's the mindset to have.
Totally.
And not everybody has that mindset, I mean, I got into it with my own mother the other day. I love her, but she was feeling super squirrely at home. Normally she trains by swimming. She's so badass. She's like in her 70s and she swims every day. And she's like, she can't go to pools. And she's like, what do I do? She's like, now I can't even go in the ocean. What do I do? So she like tried to escape to some like riverside hotel to like swim there, and they like let her in, and she's like, this is great. And the next day they kicked everybody out of the hotel, told them to go back home, refunded them their money. And she called me like, I can't believe it. And I was like, I can.
Right.
Like this are unprecedented times. Things are changing. And I'm so sorry that happened. Like, but I love you so much and I just want you to be well.
Yeah.
So like, just stay home, which kind of, the staying home was something that I kind of took into my brain as like a project and was like, how do I, because we're such reward animals. Like when I get a little like, you did it, good job. I was like, how do I do this with people? So I worked with some friends of mine that are artists and employed them to create merchandise and stickers for me, and created this thing called Namaste at Home.
Of course you did. Genius.
So it's dope. It's tattoo style. I hired 2 tattoo artists that are out of work due to this, paid them, supported them, and was like, this is how we fucking do it.
That's sick. That's sick though. That's, it's observing like, how can I leverage this scenario in a way that is not only, it's great for you, but it's really for others too. It's wonderful. Like I want to wear, is it a shirt or is it a sticker? Or like, what is it?
Well, the Namaste at Home it's stickers and it's mugs. So I'm going to, so they're
That's
coming.
smart.
They're going to be, because, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to send you some shit. It's going to happen.
I'm happy to buy it, and fucking share it. Go home, namaste at home.
Yeah.
With you. I love it. Well, that's, just to, expand on that idea that, rather than like throwing your hands up in the air and being like, well, now what, you're like, no, let me look deeper into this scenario and figure out like, what could I create from this moment that could be,
Yeah. And we were in talks about all this merch stuff and started to do things in like February. And, so I gave her my idea, and it's basically like Shiva the destroyer. So Shiva the destroyer god, it's like it's so the timing, Roxanne. Okay. So Shiva is the destroyer god, right? And in order for things to be built new, what is before has to be destroyed. That's like the idea around it. And so I was like, I don't know if this sounds like narcissistic, but this image I have in my head is like, I'm this like multi-armed like deity thing, but I'm like holding on to things that like are just what I love to have every day in my life.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she like created this thing, and like we weren't really going forward on it, but I loved it. And then when shit really hit the fan, I was like, hey, Katie, like, let's get rolling on this art and like pump this out. And so she got me tons of assets. I worked with one other friend of mine that's also a patron of mine, and was like, hey, like, how about I get something generated for you and create another mug for me that's like all my favorite things, which is cats and coffee and yoga.
I love it.
So all this is getting ready. The shirts are dope.
That's amazing.
It's this like ladies muscle tank, and the guys have a tank too. There's shirts, there's sweatshirts, and they're called the Destroyer. So that is the design, is the Destroyer. because that's what the fuck's going on.
I love this. I love this so much because I hope that it inspires people who are listening to think on the level, not in a pressured way, of like, oh, I got to figure something out, but just like, of just surrendering to the fucking situation and then keeping this open mind, which is really an open channel to receive. You already had something in the works, but like, I feel like you were really look, imagine if you were overwhelmed by this whole situation, fear was overriding you, and you were just letting that dominate you, and you were feeling stuck, and you were really just trying to hold on to the things that were taking place before in your life, before this happened. You wouldn't have the ability to receive this, okay, the time is now, let's do this. Okay, I need to create this, let's do this. Okay, you wouldn't be able to do it, So I love that you are doing this and you're sharing it over this episode, because I really want people who are listening to open their minds up right now and go, okay, if I've never had an opportunity to create something before this moment because I was stuck in my job and doing all, now it's like everything is fucking neutralized right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you have the ability, you have the time, you have this, and everybody's life looks different. And I get that. And I know, and there's struggles still and all that. But just saying, if you want to, you can open your mind and you can allow this channel to be there. And you never know. You could be fucking scrubbing your bathtub and all of a sudden, boom, you get hit in the ass of like, that's it. That's the thing. Can you imagine, girl, if we were in the toilet paper industry right now? Like, girl, I'm not kidding. I'm like, hand sanitizer, toilet paper. Legit, last year at one point, I was on this plane ride coming home from Spain, and somebody was coughing, and my whole family, we're germ phobes. Like, we're not handshakers. When this whole shit went down, we're like, yeah, we're already on this. It's a joke. Like, people are laughing at us.
And I've seen your brother's stories about like not grabbing the fuel pumps and like.
I don't even know how people do that. I'm sorry. I'm like, everybody he posted this like woman scratching her ass getting caught at the gas station. He's like, yeah, that's why you don't, you use a napkin. But yeah, my family's always been that. You saw that, right? It's so funny. But, I remember last year thinking, hey, hold on. I'm stuck on this plane. This guy won't stop coughing and he's not properly covering himself. I was cringing. It's an international flight. So I have this idea. I'm like, dude, I want to make some cool masks, because the plane's not going to put them in. They have barf bags, but it would be nice if they put these masks in, right? Because we're stuck no matter what. But most people aren't thinking, oh, let me go buy a mask, before I got on a flight. But what if I created these cool, like camo or something cool, and like in a 2-pack, and where you buy your water and your magazine, there's like, oh, I won't get that. I just think to myself, like, fuck, can you imagine if I had done that already? But anyways, it's kind of a sidestep rant, but really to take us back where we were, it's just this idea of keeping the mind open so you can keep the channel open to receive, creative, wonderful ideas that really could change the rest of your fucking life.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. And fear is the killer of creativity.
Totally.
And the thing that I've been trying to, support, because I don't like advice giving. Like I'll give advice if asked, but I just like to lead by example.
Yeah.
I just like to do the thing, and then people want to ask, like, cool, come at me with it. But like this thing that's going to hopefully open up new channels of creativity, it doesn't mean that channel is going to be the exact right one. You may follow that path and then stumble. Mm-hmm. But that's not a reason to stop. That informed you and then created a new path. It's like, we don't just go forwards and then go backwards. It's like we go forwards, hit a roadblock, and then turn a path, and then we keep going. But it's like, that's the thing that scares people, is when they hit that thing. And I was realizing as I was, generating all my products for this merch release, as I was like, because I've been working on it, like, my boyfriend's been like, are you ready to stop working? Because I've been like
working more than ever right now.
Yeah. And I'm like, sorry, babe, like I'm a double Aries. Like,
yeah,
like when I am gonna do something, I am just like, just
dude, I'm gonna post this video. I have to.
So like,
oh my God, I love you.
And there's been so many moments where I'm doing something, and even like the original design I was going for was this super cute crop top because I love crop tops.
Me too.
But because of the COVID situation, like this, this merchant was not going to do and provide those crop tops. So I was like, boom, there was a block. And I was like, okay, pivot, find something different. And I found a new line that let me print my unique logo on the inside of the shirt. But I wouldn't have found that unless I hit that fucking block, you know? So then that moment just made what I'm hopefully going to do better. I'm going to do it. It's going to happen.
Yes, you're doing it for sure. You
but
have
you know
to now. Yeah. Oh no, I love that. And most people either are afraid to take the step forward, period, because they're afraid of that potential roadblock, or people stop short at the roadblock. And look, I get it, you know, as an entrepreneur, as someone who has literally, how do I say, it's not like I've transcended a career because, you know, doing makeup is still a part of my career life, but I expanded, you know, and I added this new kind of territory to my career life, which really is the core of it's like my highest path, right? Like being a thought leader in personal empowerment, having this podcast where I can, you know, support people to optimize self-development, health, life performance. Like this is a fucking calling for me. Like this is what I'm made to do. Makeup is just something that's I'm really good at and I love, you know? But I say that because this shit ain't easy. Like it's really hard to go from full force, all this, you know, you're doing this career and you're doing great and all things. And then all of a sudden you have to start from the bottom up. No, there's no roadmap. You know what I mean? Like do this, go there. And then you're going to, so it's like really discover and create as you go. And there were so many times where I legit, like I hit roadblocks, even just mentally, like maybe it's not the thing, but maybe I feel like, fuck, you know, it's not, I'm not doing it maybe good enough or not enough, or like, what do I, and those are moments that could really, really, really create defeat. Right. And people will just back out. Mm-hmm. But, you know, when I feel moments like that in my life, like when I come across them, I just, you know, I think this really meditation and writing has helped me with this, but I've been able to create a separation between my thoughts and myself. So I can watch my thoughts. I can observe it. Like, let's just say the subject of defeat, because I actually recently felt that, you know, and I go, okay, I see you, defeat. Like I actually even understand like why you're here. I get it. But being the bouncer of my fortress, my club, I'm like, but you, yeah. Have you ever heard me say that? I've talked about it on the podcast. Yeah.
I've never heard you say that. That's so good.
Isn't it so? It's so real though. It's like you're the bouncer. You don't want riffraff coming in. You want this environment to be fucking VIP dope, right? Which means it's only fucking thoughts and beliefs and, you know, all that stuff that feels good, that is elevated. That's like, you know, and so, but the riffraff is still going to come knocking at the door. You can't stop the riffraff. Like, fuck no, you know? But so defeat's there. I see it and I'm like, okay, I see you. I get it. I get why you're here, but I can't let you come in and make yourself at home because you have no place here. And I'm going to keep fucking going. But I think one thing that's really important to take from that is, number one, I've created this separation between me and my thoughts, right? Super helpful. Number two, I don't push it away and pretend like, oh, it's not there, or turn it into something else right away. Like I just kind of study it. Like, and I even sometimes like in that moment, like I get it. I understand from a logical perspective why you exist right now, why my mind would allow you to like come knocking at the door. But then this is where the bad motherfucker comes in and goes, you don't get to come in, right?
You
So
bounce on out of here.
that's right. And then that's where the pivots happen. That's where, that's where you rise. Even if you don't have the answer yet, the thing yet, but you've pushed past this point where most people either A, won't even get to, or B, or when they get there, they fucking just back down and quit. And, what we're both saying here in unique ways is like, don't do it. Like you keep going. And right when you fucking think, like what's after this, it's like something is after that, and you're better for it. And then so is your life, Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. They're going to come up.
Right. Especially right now.
Yeah. Especially if, just when dynamics change, and I fancy myself a very agile person, but like also I know that I'm stubborn and I'm particular, and that I butt up against those qualities of myself, So yeah, I've definitely done some learning, especially, if you're cohabitating with somebody during this situation. So I'm, adjusting things with myself and my partner, and we've talked through some things, figured it out, but like, yeah, that's good. It's making us, I sound so cliche. It's making us a stronger couple. So yeah, but having just recreating just our direction during this time, and still bringing in the familiars so that we still have ritual is just so important.
I love that. And that makes me, it excites me to want to ask you this question. What are a couple, 1 to 3 habits, lifestyle habits that you've already had integrated into your life that in a kind of non-obvious way are proving to be very, very supportive to you right now in your life with this COVID-19 quarantine situation happening?
Well, definitely still maintaining a regular go to bed, wake up routine. Even though I'm not going to a workplace, I'm pretending like I'm still reporting to work, even though my work is downstairs, right?
Yeah.
So waking up early, taking a shower, getting out of pajamas, and putting on makeup, like putting on some eyebrows has been really good for my heart.
I'm with you. That's that's one of mine as well. It's the same thing. It's like you get up, you make your bed, you shower, whatever, make your coffee, do that ritual. Yeah, the coffee. I know. Like it's not a time. It's not a free for all time of like, oh, I'm just going to stay in my pajamas and turn on the TV. I mean,
oh my God,
fuck no.
That's another thing. We don't do the TV thing until nighttime, if we even do that. And that's how our life was normally.
And that's why I love this question, because okay, look, like so much of what Black Belt Beauty, the podcast, all the things that I talk about, all the experts I bring on, all of this stuff is meant to keep you kicking ass in your life. And what the thing that I think I'm trying to point to right now is that when you are creating this life, when you are, for example, when you have the habit of eating well, when you have the habit of movement as a constant, when you have the habit of healthy boundaries, whether it's with, the phone, TV, like whatever, the refrigerator, when this is naturally a part of your life, in this kind of scenario, you're not fucking thrown off. You've got edge because, so that's what I'm trying to really point to is like, what are some of those things that, you didn't you weren't planning for some, invisible war. So you're going to mind your TV hours.
Right.
But naturally having this system of how you function as an entrepreneur, with, half of your business being at home, right?
Yeah.
It's been really helpful to you right now to just have this kind of routine and habit.
Big time.
Yeah.
Big time that. So just kind of keeping the schedule similar. Like there was a couple nights this week where we stayed up a little bit later, but it's like, listen, my cat jumps on my bed at the same time every morning and stomps on my ass at the same time. So like, go to bed,
Yeah.
So going to bed early, all that stuff helping. The diet thing definitely helps. I'm kind of I'm just looking at mine with a little more of a critical eye right now, because before my diet supported a very intense active lifestyle, like the amount of hours I was spending training every week, that like I'm still moving and training, but not with the same exact intensity as I was before.
Yeah.
I'm not like I'm still doing like walking and running around my neighborhood, but I'm not doing 14 rounds of 20 minutes or 20-second sprints.
Yeah. Your schedule normally is gnarly. It's gnarly.
So gnarly. And I'm not doing jujitsu right now.
Right.
I mean, even like the week before this popped off, I was in jujitsu and I was like, somebody's face was right here.
As they are in
jiu-jitsu. Like shoulder adjust to somebody. And I was like, this is a lot of contact. I was like,
oh my God. No, I mean, it's the same for me, with training. I'm also, this is a cool little add-in, but I'm purposely not training. I mean, they just closed down the beach, but when it was open, I'm not doing my 10Ks, which are my favorite. I'm doing like a 5K or whatever, because I don't want to overstress my system. Not to say that if you run a 10K, it's overstressing your system, but when you are moving every day like I do, it can be, especially as a woman around your cycle, it can, immunity, like there's things you have to consider with that. But so it's two parts. It's one, not wanting to be super taxing on my body by way of training, also for my immune system, and also not wanting to push training so much to where it's driving my hunger up, because I'm not going to the store, girl. Like I've got what I've got in my fridge and my freezer, and it's essentially like proteins and fats, and that's what it's. I've a neighbor of mine, a firefighter neighbor of mine who's rad. He did go to the store and buy some of my organic girl greens that are in like plastic containers, but I'm not doing fresh produce and things like that right now, just because I'm, playing it extra safe. But I don't want my training to drive my hunger up, which doesn't mean I'm not moving. Right. So here's a fun thing, which maybe you're naturally doing this with your videos, but maybe not. But, there's this way of training. It's like workout all day. Typically, it's hard to do that before this situation, because we have work, we're doing our thing. But right now it's different because we're home. So what does training all day look like? So it's basically breaking up your training. You're about 80% and you go for like 20-minute segments. You do like 3 or 4 times a day. What's rad about it is that it doesn't overstress your body, and you're actually integrating more movement throughout the day, which sometimes even in, just before COVID, I can go and I'll do like a sculpt class with you. And it's badass. And I'm like kicking, my ass is being kicked for an hour. But then maybe for the rest of the day, I've got a podcast or sit at my desk and I'm like, look at my Fitbit. I'm like, huh? How is it 5 o'clock and you only got 8,000 steps in? And for me, I want to be at like 15,000 or at least over 10, Mm-hmm. So with this 20 minutes, whether it's jump roping or doing one of your, like you have a yoga cardio 25-minute, or taking a couple walks around the block, but you just dose throughout the day.
Yeah.
There's a beautiful stimulus that is different for your body, and people you might be surprised, but you can actually make some serious gains from training like this.
Yeah. And that's kind of naturally the cycle that I've fallen into. Same thing, where it's like, usually in the morning, I wake up, I stretch. My routine prior to, sorry, my boyfriend's trying to get my attention. He's forgetting I'm in a podcast.
No, I thought I heard him.
Yes.
Oh.
I love you. Huh?
Where the food is.
It's coming.
I'm going to get you back to him in a minute, but I just,
So good.
So stretching.
I just was like starting to talk about, I'm like, fuck, he's coming upstairs. I love him. So kind of naturally doing like stretching and movement in the morning, especially if I'm going to be recording, I don't go into those cold.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I gotta move around and I test, because I have to come up with these ideas in my head. So I actually have to try them on my body.
Yeah.
And I kind of made this mistake the other day because I was like, oh, I'm going to record this kind of dance flow bar movement. And it's set to release on Monday. But like, I was really struggling in the class and was like kind of not doing well. And I'm like recording and I'm like, well, do I just re-record this because I don't feel strong doing it? I really had this debate in my head about it. And even like I was doing this movement and I like kicked my 30-pound kettlebell.
Ow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I don't know what I'm going to do.
The behind the scenes in that. Oh my God.
Yeah. I was kind of like, what? So anywho, yes. So I've been doing it that way. I do like using, the kettlebells, the weights and stuff. Like I'll be doing some movement. I'll do like a chunk of like some arm and back work, and then I'll like do some leg work later. So it's like 3 or 4 chunks every day that I'm moving around and playing with different.
I love that. It's more fun too. Like I got about 25 minutes in. When we're done, I'm going to get some more in, but I was jump roping and then I did kettlebell swings, and I'm definitely going to get outside and walk today, but I'll probably do some more jump roping and every day looks different. And I think it's important. Every day we need something different. So you want to address, your body differently, but it is a cool thing. I don't know if people, because I know right now it can be very difficult for people to feel motivated to, just drop down and start, getting their fucking sweat on. But if you look at it like, let me just dose this out differently. I'm going to do like 15, 20 minutes here. And then in a couple hours, I'm going to do more. And surprisingly, it might be really beneficial to a lot of people. So I love that. Is there anything else habitually that has been supportive?
Yes. Connecting with people. Because I'm so used to interfacing constantly with human beings. And in particular, because also, and I've discussed this on your podcast, but I'm in recovery. So recovery is very connection based. And so I've become very familiar with Zoom like meetings and gatherings and stuff. And, sometimes, and I've been having a really good time jumping on, recovery based meetings and support groups all over the world. And so it's like, not only am I just listening to the people within my immediate community, but even just the other day, I got to connect with, people like me in Italy, people like me in New York, and I'm hearing their stories and their firsthand experiences during this time. And it is so amazing. Like I wouldn't be able to do that normally. And so this is really offering up like a new way of interacting that I almost prefer, if that's weird. Like, because really we get a small sampling of the world when we're, just kind of operating within our bubble. And this has really opened up, not only is this a global pandemic, but we're able to really globally connect. And I'm really enjoying that process.
I love that. No, I love as a writer, I love a good fucking irony. And I think the irony here is we've never been as isolated as we are now currently. And simultaneously, we have never been more connected to each other as we are now.
Mm-hmm.
How fucking amazing is that? I mean, that's literally poetry in motion, because it's the truth. Like, we're all, like I said earlier, everybody's neutralized. It doesn't, some people could be in better positions than others, obviously financially and things of that nature, you know, even health and whatnot. But it doesn't matter what country you're from, what your job is, how many fucking followers you have. Like, we're all basically neutralized by being under attack by this invisible, you know, this virus. And it puts us all in kind of an even playing field. And there's something very, you know, it's very unifying, right? And then comes another extension of connecting, where, I don't know. I mean, I think just even in my personal life, it's funny, you know, I've had some FaceTime dates with some girlfriends. I'm like, hey, assholes, like, we've been trying to go to the spa together for literally 2 years. When I say assholes, I'm including myself.
Of course.
Right. And I'm like, what? We've been trying to go to the spa for 2 years and haven't been able to pull it off. Like, I get it. We're all busy, but here we are. I mean, this is not the spa, but I love this, because really we don't need the spa. What we really are aiming for, yes, memories, experiences, all that, but it's about being connected. It's connectiveness, you know, with your loved ones. And then even further, like what you're saying, people that you don't even know, but they're over there in Italy, and it's a very, very, I think it's one of the, I mean, listen, like Blue Zones community, that's a huge pillar of health, right? So to have this wonderful opportunity where we get to not only generate more connection with, you know, people that we love, but even further than that, like connecting with people like you just mentioned, you know, in other parts of the world. Yeah. It's amazing.
Yeah. No, it's been really special, especially with, you know, some of the free offerings I have. Like when I was doing this live class, you know, I had some people that were in Europe that were like, I'm asleep at that time. Will it still be up? And it's like, fuck yeah.
So cool.
You can take this when you wake up in the morning. And so that's just been really, really unique to be able to spread my fingers in all directions that I can think of, and just try to impact as many people as possible. Now, the challenge for me always is like remembering that as much as I want to spread out, like I also need to like give to myself, you know, and that's been the struggle for me at least.
No, you know, I saw you post that on your story the other day. You were talking about that, and it really hit home to me. Literally yesterday, I had this day where I was like, you know what? Because so much of my work, the podcasts, I have my love notes. Now I have other things that I'm creating that are going to be available soon, but are all in support of you becoming better, right? That's the goal behind everything that I'm creating. And what is it? Yes, for sure. I get something out of it too, because it makes me feel good. It's my passion. It's purpose, right? But it's still this like, giving, right? Out. And yesterday, I just felt it. I was like, you know what? I am just I'm going in. And I mean, I live in anyways, but like, I'm really going in. And
oh yeah,
it's funny. I literally spent all day just enjoying scrubbing my home, which by the way, bitch is already OCD.
Oh my God. I've been cleaning.
You know, but like, yeah, homegirls are like, everything's always neat, has its place, opposite of a hoarder. I'm a purger. But like, I just wanted to like scrub with detail, like with a toothbrush. And really all I wanted to do is just fucking do me, you know? And it felt really, really good. And it is very important, you know, especially when your business is giving, like you're creating to give to, you know, that's what yours is, you know, it's like you have to have these, you know, again, like going back to like the morning and the evening, like that's me time, Roxy time. But even with that, I think that there comes a point where you need more, you know, and yesterday was my more. And so thank you actually, because it was your story when you were talking about it. I think I had this kind of feeling looming in me a little bit, like it was starting. And then I was like, yeah, fuck yeah. I'm going to fucking just do me, and just, yeah, it was great.
Take a moment. And that's why, doing things like, I'm imagining on the other side of like, when people need to receive like a guided meditation or a sound healing or any of those things, it's like they're realizing like, okay, I've done enough for other people, because everybody right now is doing a ton of things for other people. That's what we're doing. And so it's even more of a challenge when we're, within the confines of our home and needing to create these invisible boundaries during this invisible war, like you were talking about.
Yeah.
So being able to, kind of insulate yourself a little bit to restore yourself is so important, and such a skill. Like that is such a skill that I'm still learning. So yeah, I'm really excited to get you the file for this so you can connect it onto here.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm just really excited to spread our fingertips together.
Yes, girl. I love it. I'm so excited. Yeah, we're just going to roll into it basically. Two things I do want to say, before I release you, because I know you got to go. Your man's like food. I talk about this all the time, but I do want it to live in this episode. 2 habits outside of me just being able to sit with myself. And that's just, and it's really serving to me because I don't feel uncomfortable, and I'm actually very comfortable. Being able to just be, basically. 2 habits outside of that I think that have been so supportive to me right now in this period that I didn't create for a situation like this. They're really passions, but the meditation and the journaling. And I just want that to live here because, a lot of times, people are like, I don't have time for this. I know it would be good for me. And it's like, well, you got time now? Because I promise you, even just starting with 5-8 minutes of meditation, guided meditation, let Tracy be the fucking entrance to it, play this soundbath, play this meditation soundbath on repeat every day until this starts to become a habit. And then then you can take it deeper, and you will, if it really becomes a habit. And then, journaling after meditation is really, really powerful too, because it's like you've unlocked these chambers of your mind, and then you just roll ink and you let it go wherever it's going to go. And you don't judge at all. It's this very safe, free space to spend time with the highest parts of you, with the deepest parts of you, with all of you. So I just want to invite people who are listening, to really consider these, the building of these habits right now. Because I know anecdotally, like they have created the fucking warrior woman that I am, for sure, because there's a level of self-connection, self-awareness, self-love, and self-confidence that was formulated from these 2 tools. And then I was able to expand them in my everyday life, right? So just wanted to put that in there.
I love that.
I love you.
I love you.
What are you about to eat right now? What am I going to eat?
We ordered our favorite Indian food restaurant, because one thing that me and Kumar want to make sure we're doing is still supporting small businesses here. So our favorite restaurants we've still been ordering from, and, either doing like roadside pickup or having them deliver.
Yeah.
To make sure, because that's crazy times for restaurants right now.
No, for sure. Yeah, no, that's beautiful. Is there anything that you want to express before I release you that you have not yet?
I want to let everybody know that, yes, you do have time to better yourself. I want to also encourage people to do the thing or things that they are most afraid of. And to know that you're going to be okay, no matter what.
I love you. And I agree. Like, boom, knuckles, virtual hug, the whole thing. I fucking love you.
I love you.
All right. Thank you so much, Mama.
Thank you,
I
babe.
can't wait to do it with you again, always.
I love it. This was so great. Thanks for making my day so bright and lovely.
Ditto, Mama. I love you. I will talk to you soon. Okay, you guys, I hope you love that conversation as much as I loved having it with my girl. She's so incredible. And I have no doubt that you are about to love this meditation and sound bath. I do want to recommend that, you are in a setting where you are relaxed. You're not driving or anything of that nature. Just utilize this time to really just check in with yourself, to let go and allow your most relaxed, surrendered state to come alive and take over you. Love you guys. Enjoy.
Hi, everyone. I wanted to welcome you back to the studio for something that will be a lot different from our typical videos and movement and workouts. I wanted to offer you something a little more grounding, something that was more of an audio experience. And for myself lately, my own nervous system has been more into the sympathetic as opposed to the parasympathetic. Everything feels like it's kind of turned up to its loudest volume, and the only person that I have control over is myself. And one of my favorite tools for self-regulation, I love doing meditation, and especially for deeper levels of meditation, sound bathing. So this is my first ever sound bath that I am recording. I have literally created a blanket fort in my living room, and my partner helped me wire up 2 mics. So hopefully this is a good kind of feast for the auditory senses. I invite you, wherever you are, to either be sitting or laying down. Be sure that you are comfortable. Notice any pockets of tension in your body. Maybe those pockets of tension are really elusive. Maybe you notice that your eyebrows were knitted together. Maybe you didn't realize that your shoulders were tucked up really high. Maybe you didn't notice that your teeth were clenched. In this moment for me, slide the shoulder blades down, opening up the collarbones and the space across your heart. Maybe you need to open your mouth up wide like you're yawning. As your mouth closes, still maintain some space between your teeth. Let your tongue settle into the throne of your jaw, detaching it from the roof of your mouth. Let all your extremities get a little bit heavier. Imagine a heavy anchor at each joint, bringing you a little bit closer to the ground. Breath in through your nose and out of your nose. Even bigger this time, in through the nose, all the way up to the top, maximum lung capacity. This time out of your mouth, exhale. One more for me, because I love things in 3s. Inhale through your nose all the way up to the top. Pause at the top, sip on one more sip, and let it go. Now let your breath just move naturally. 3D expansion in the rib cage, in the lungs. And settle in for our first sound bath together. Start to become aware of the sounds in your space. Become aware of the sound of your own breath. Become aware of your body in space. How it feels. The weight of it on the ground or in a chair. What would it feel like to brush your thumbs across your fingertips? To rock your head side to side and maybe stretch. Getting a little more spacious. I invite you to bring your left hand onto your heart and your right hand onto your belly. And feel your lungs expand and your heart beat, knowing that this is the only thing important in this moment. Friends, I am very grateful for all of you. I hope that this provided a little time and a little space to yourself. Hopefully some yummy feelings. Know that you can take this feeling with you. That it is not just a singular moment, but an opportunity for more space moving forwards. Thank you so much for letting me guide you, and I hope to hear from you all again very soon. Namaste.
Thanks so much for tuning into this episode, you guys. If you loved it, please share it on your social. Throw it up on your Instagram stories and tag me. I'm at Black Belt Beauty. I am also at Roxy Look, RoxyLook. I love connecting with you guys. This is a conversation that I want to just continue growing with you guys. So if you feel inspired to hit me up, do so in that space. I always enjoy hearing from you. If you'd like to support this podcast, you can do so by rating it and reviewing it via iTunes. It's such supportive help, you guys. It really helps the visibility of this podcast. So I appreciate and thank you in advance for doing that. And last but not least, if you are interested in starting your own podcast, or perhaps you already have one and you need help with, editing your audio and the production of it, I cannot recommend my producers enough. Resonate Recordings, you guys, they are the bomb. I rely on them. They are an absolute supportive tool to me and my podcast. So check them out and let them know that Black Belt Beauty sent you. And on that note, you guys, I'm signing off with all my love and always looking forward to catching you on the next.